Ben was like, let's do it. Let's see if this is coming up. Give it another test rage.
I was just drinking my water on my veranda. Hey, we're just testing this again because apparently it was on John's profile and not all of you watch John's profile. So we'll see if it works. Colin's checking it out. Maybe not. We're hoping you're watching the behind the scenes of the YaJagoffPodcast. Just chilling on my veranda, sipping my water by myself. Everybody else is in there. Must be working. Thank God. Everyone knows I hate silence. I hate silence and being by myself.
So, as we were saying over on my personal Facebook page,
John made omelets this morning.
we made omelets. And anyways, this is the YaJagoff podcast recording for the July 4th weekend. The podcast will come out on Tuesday, wherever you get your podcast. But this is the behind-the-scenes version. And we are in the north side, near Gus and Yaya's, which we should go for the cast party. But right now, we're at the National Aviary.
Why would we even talk about another place, although we love Gus and Yaya's, when we are at the National Aviary? I just find that to be so prideful that here we live in a city where, in my hometown of the north side, we have a National Aviary. And it is just absolutely gorgeous. I can't wait to talk to the folks about how it has grown since I've done field trips and brought my kids here. So that's what we're into. But we love the fact that you like to see the behind the scenes. Not always like scandalous. There's not really tripping or any kind of fights or anything. How could there be? It's the beautiful place of the National Aviary. But it's just for you to kind of see the little conversations we have and how it all works. So thanks for tuning in, as always.
Yeah. So go get your coffee. Go get your toast,
it's already
whatever
noon,
it is.
So it's not toast.
And
it's a pet peeve of
that
mine
is
that
good.
you say
That's a
that.
good point. Anyways,
say,
our
like,
music
English
today
muffin.
is the River City Brass
French.
Band. And James Gorley and the gang are standing. We're going to spin the camera.
Woo,
Look at
woo!
us.
Can't wait. Hit it, Jagoffs.
Oh, that might be my
So
favorite.
awesome.
That is James Gorley and members of the River City Brass Band. As you know, we will talk to them at the end of this podcast.
Musicians are my favorite part to the podcast, and we always save the best for last.
The River City Brass Band is a Pittsburgh treasure, in case you have not heard of them. Well, you're a Jagoff if you haven't heard of them. So.
Yeah, in the non-term of endearment
Right.
way.
All right. So
All right,
come on
come.
in,
Sit down.
and this is how we start our podcast. Rourke Automotive Group has stayed true to its core values during the challenges of shortages throughout the year. We pride ourselves on the customer-first mentality, so we refuse to serve our community in any other way.
Whether it's an inventory shortage or not. So for anyone looking for a new vehicle, not looking to pay more than they should, talk to a representative today or visit RourkeHonda.com for all of your vehicle needs. And now we start the YaJagoff podcast from
The National Aviary, which we're going to find out is a very rare thing in most cities.
Yep.
All right, so this is where you hear the music and all the people say YaJagoff, and then we say, this is John and Rachel. This is the YaJagoff podcast. If you're listening for the very first time or watching on Facebook, we'd ask that you go subscribe to it on wherever you get there are so many places to get podcasts now, but iTunes, of course, being the biggest one, where you could leave a comment to say, hey, like those people aren't so bad people.
Yeah, only if it's good comments. If you have nothing nice to say, say nothing. I learned that years ago, and I've always kept to it. Anyway, we always tell you about what was on our blog. Our podcast obviously comes out on Tuesdays, but Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday is where we don't stay true to our mission of being term of endearment jagoffs. This is where we call out the jagoffs on the road, the parkers who are just a little bit annoying when we get a little bit of road rage, and you did most of that this week.
Well, and we were together
Junk
for
truck.
this one. We were
Yes.
driving. I'm like, so we were behind this junk truck. It, you know, if you could remember the old days of Sanford and Son, it was that kind of
Yeah, it
truck.
was
And we were
burr,
behind the
burr.
truck driving down the road, and a broom just stuff was just randomly falling out
Debris.
of the back of the
Yes.
truck.
We kept our distance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we teamed up on this one because you hurried up and got a picture
Yep.
of stuff falling out. Like
I did.
you know, cover it over, get a bigger truck, or just don't take so much. I don't know what you're supposed to do, but it's just as silly as the people that try to drive around with a mattress on the top of
He
their
always
car.
talks
It
about
just
that.
doesn't
John's
work out.
second pet peeve, buggies. They're not buggies, they're they're shopping carts, but John stays true to Pittsburgh and calls them buggies. And what happened? The prep for the 4th of July.
It just kills me that people are that rude that they can't walk the buggy 10 feet to the
Cart.
corral.
Yes.
Right? They park it
Corral
right
that cart.
here, although they could have walked 10 more feet and put it in the corral. And I get it. We pay people to do that, and they need their job. But at least be a little bit more
Courteous for crying
considerate.
out loud.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. There you go. And then the other thing was, we're really hoping that you saw the amazing video, thanks to John Craig Media, that we did with People's Gas for our 5th and annual porch tour. It was so much fun. It got tons of shares, and it got dozens of entries. Tracy's so happy that she can finally say, here are the people who will be a part of our porch tour this year. This is where we collect items for Zachary's mission and use them for Zach packs for people who have overnight stays for extended amounts of time in the hospital. So we love doing this project, and thanks so much for making it a really good video.
And we have to thank all the people who give prizes, because it's not about
Oh
us
my gosh,
bringing
yeah.
our podcast guest out to your house. It's about the prizes. You get Millie's Ice Cream, just to say a few, Mancini's Bakery, Ernie Ritchie's Sausage, Mary Mac items. You get a $100 gift card from the Robinson Mall, which is new. Now we found out that On Par Now, where we podcasted from 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago, they're giving us a gift certificate.
And Q929 wants to be a part of it, since obviously we have a show there as well now. And they've reached out to Yinsylvania, and you get Yinsylvania shirts that say things like YaJagoff. And it looks like Q929 wants to give some tickets away to concerts this summer.
And we hear the winning house, those who collect the most items for Zachary's mission, as determined by Patricia and Rob Vince, who run Zachary's mission, might have a chef's-only porch dinner.
How cool is that? Thanks to Leo Carius, if we're saying it right, oil. We have to
Yeah.
double check that.
Leo Carius.
Leo
Yeah.
Carius oil. How's that? I said it 4 different ways for the video to make
We
sure
did.
I said it right.
So
and I
go
wasn't
watch
a
the
jagoff.
video. We appreciate that. But in the
All right, we
meantime,
talked enough.
Yes. It's time to have our guests, because this is really the first time we've podcasted from the aviary. We had Bob on the podcast from the north when we were at the old
No,
Elegant
he
Inn.
said he was not there, but we're thinking that it may have been Krista. But Krista's not here today. We have Cathy, who's actually going to tell us a little bit about a huge event that I may or may not have dressed for today. Welcome, Cathy.
Thank you for having
We're
me.
so glad to have you. We were asking you because we had someone come on. Was it the sloth? Why am I not remembering?
No, it was not a
so many
sloth.
years
And we
ago.
wanted to get the sloth on,
And
but
we got
they
something
couldn't
else.
bring it.
Yeah. Nonetheless, it was an awesome experience. experience that we're blocking on what the animal was. But you've always been so gracious to us. We certainly appreciate you allowing us to be on this beautiful site. It is so pretty here.
I love our new garden room. It is amazing. The garden room opens up to the park and to this beautiful rose garden.
I never knew this was all back here.
It's new, and imagine having your events in this space. And I don't say that just because I work here.
No, I get it.
Extremely gorgeous.
Are we having our YaJagoff Media Christmas party
here? They laugh at me because every podcast I go, maybe we'll have our Christmas party here.
See? Well, now you can really make it happen.
Yes.
You can go in and go through the habitats and see the birds.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, it doesn't get better than that.
Yeah.
Wait, how many people does this room hold?
Oh, I think 200, 225, something like that.
We need like
the Wilson
28.
crew.
I know. Actually, I do have to talk to you guys afterward because we have a client who might need it. So we only have 28 people. So if you could just give us a fraction and let us stand on one corner, that would be fabulous.
I'll point you in the right direction.
Okay.
I'm here to talk to you. I usually do animal things.
There you go. Yes. So let's talk about that. You have a big event that you want to chat about, which we're really excited to hear about. But talk to us all things aviary.
Well, I'm just really excited about Night in the Tropics because it is our big annual fundraiser for a 20 plus and over fundraiser that happens every summer except for the last 2 years. It's been on hiatus.
Yes.
So it's finally back and we're looking forward to it. And the garden room is new, so people get to come experience our new fundraiser and get to check out the garden room, and we'll have some of our experiences in this beautiful space as well. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Cathy, how did you get your job with zero personality whatsoever?
Yeah, seriously.
No, you're a great front
love
person
it.
for the aviary. So tell us what happens there, and what can people do? Obviously, they could tour the aviary that night.
Yes, we have different opportunities to get up close to some of our animals. We have a VIP hour that's from 6 to 7. And so if you get your VIP tickets, we have exclusive VIP animal events where you're going to get to see and meet some of our owls, parrots, falcons, and you'll get to walk through the different habitats and talk to aviary experts along the way. VIPs get their own exclusive drinks. They get premium bar service, and they get valet parking. So VIP tickets are really
It's
amazing.
truly a VIP.
Did you buy them yet?
VIP.
Yeah.
We need them.
Very important Pittsburgher.
There you go.
There you go. And then we also have our general admission guests, and they're going to have a fabulous time too. So you're going to, again, be able to partake into aviary experiences that you wouldn't get anywhere else, meeting some animals. You're going to get unlimited food, and you're going to get drinks, and it's just going to be a fun time.
What an experience, yeah.
I have to remember, too, there's more than just animal experiences. There's going to be Tuka's Polynesian dancers. They're going to be here doing lots of different dancing.
That's cool.
Including fire dancing, which
I read
I
that.
want to see.
Do you know what fire dancing is? I mean, is it literally just the use of fire and kind of hula dancing is what I'm assuming?
I can't really explain it. But
Could you demonstrate? Cathy, can you demonstrate it for us right now?
It's fine.
I'm going to have to tell the aviary that
I have
they
a lighter.
have to do some professional development with me for fire dancing for next
Totally
time.
understood. But that's an add-on, right? Because each year you kind of do a little something different even though the theme's essentially the same.
Yes.
Right.
Well, the theme this year is vintage vacation.
Yes, I love that.
So you can wear your favorite tropical outfit or your vintage outfit.
I love it.
Have fun with it. And we do have different entertainment every year. So we also have Steel Town that's going to be playing music throughout the different years, so that way
James Gorley just threw his instrument across. He's like, why not us?
So like different eras, right? Okay, that's awesome. That was perfect. No, that's so cool. And so I'm assuming that having had a 2-year hiatus, people are really looking forward to coming back this year and kind of seeing what to expect, right?
Yes, people are very excited. Tickets are selling, and we are going to sell out, so people need to get in there and get your tickets.
It's next weekend or 2 weeks, the 16th?
It's July 16th.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a little bit of time, but not a lot because, Pittsburghers, we procrastinate like no one's business. And then we go, oh my gosh, we didn't get into that. Well, you should have bought your ticket, right? Do you know offhand, and I know you had a couple, we were talking about how we have notes. Do you recall how much the tickets are so people
That is why I kept my notes
because
I'm very bad at remembering money.
It's okay.
So VIP, it's $155 a ticket, and general admission is $95. And let me tell you, all of the entertainment, the events, the food, the drinks, it is well worth that ticket price. And all the tickets go to help the National Aviary.
Right.
And so you're helping protect birds, their habitats, and all of our conservation efforts that we do. So it's a very good cause.
It's such a good cause.
Yeah.
And it's something amazing and different to do in the summer. You know, because a lot of the summer events, we end up saying like, oh, I mean, we want to support county events and things like that. But you can only see so many concerts outside and have your carny food. This is something a little bit different and a little more niche. I think it's great.
Yeah, it's
I
a
love
unique
it.
event.
Yeah. Now, this building that we're in, the garden room, was this a
Yeah, how
refurbished
new?
piece of this, or is this a completely new build out? You expanded somehow on the north side here.
This is a completely new build out.
Okay.
This used to be a tented area that we could
Right.
only use during the summer.
Right.
I
months.
remember that
Yes,
now.
yes.
Okay.
Yep.
It used to be.
Used
Listen,
to. We always say
that's-
Pittsburgh. Yeah, go ahead.
that's going to be our new blog, the used to bees.
Yeah.
Used to be.
Used to be the tent. Now it's the
Yeah.
garden
Oh,
room.
trust
love
me, I'm a native Pittsburgher, so my directions are, you know where that Sunoco used to be? And people are like, what streets? I'm like,
I don't
have
know.
road names.
Follow
I know
along.
landmarks. Come on, keep up with me.
That's so funny. And this is gorgeous. We joke all the time that Doug Oster is my personal green thumb guy, and he doesn't want any part of it because I'm not good at maintaining any kind of garden. But this is absolutely beautiful.
It is. I would like to say that I took part in it, but
Yeah,
I did
you
not,
didn't.
But
You
I
just
get
get
to
to look.
enjoy it. and
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it seems like a great place to work there. One more time, the website and where as far as people getting tickets.
Aviary.org.
Cool.
That is so simple. Real quickly, though, and we know we want everybody to come on July 16th, but aren't there other initiatives that you can maybe rattle off for people who say, I'm on vacation, I can't come to that event?
Absolutely. We have our second annual Hike-A-Thon. The first one was last year. And this is really a unique event because you don't have to live in Pittsburgh to participate.
Okay.
You can do it from anywhere around the world, and that's happening in September. And so you can hike, bike, walk, run, anything outdoor activity. You log your miles, and you can help be part of that fundraiser as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it encourages, getting outdoors, experiencing nature, doing some physical activity, which is good for all of us.
Absolutely.
And help, again, fundraise for the National Aviary.
That's
I love it.
wonderful.
So it's a really fun event. I took part in
Yeah.
that last year, too.
I bet. It's new, though? It's something
It
you
is-
just started?
We did our first run last year, and so this is the second annual. And we're going to do it every year because the first one was a great success.
Okay. Well, we'll also pull one of our, we need a YaJagoff event here of some sort. I don't know.
I think, yeah.
Enjoy the birds YaJagoff. I don't know.
You can make a team, too. You
Ah!
can sign up
A
as
YaJagoff team.
individuals.
For
Yeah?
You
hiking?
can make a YaJagoff team.
A
Yeah.
YaJagoff
Let's do
team.
it.
All
You
right.
can make a
Colin's
team
very
and
outdoorsy.
participate.
We need a penguin here named YaJagoff, but
Oh my
that's
gosh.
down the
Ignore-
road.
just talk to
That's
me,
about
Cathy.
$1 million worth
Just
of a
talk to
donation,
me.
I think.
It's
All
not
right.
even worth it.
Before we let you go, we have a question of the day that everybody has to answer, and you have to
Okay.
know that Rachel will get angry if you try to not do
You
it.
really think I'm angry? I just don't I purposely don't give multiple choice because I want an answer. How's
Okay.
that? All
I
right.
can give an answer.
It's a scary thing.
No,
Did I
she
just
doesn't-
scare you?
I want an answer.
She's a woman. She gets it. Yeah.
I'm a very open person. You can ask.
Do
me.
it.
That's how I feel. All right. The coveted question of the day. If you had your own parrot, what phrase would you want to learn? And this is a la Colin Parrish. He was like, here's what I want to know with the aviary.
That's a super good question.
Oh, that's a really
And you
hard-
work here, so I feel like you've already tested this out. Like, this is not old hat for you.
I might have.
That's our
Okay.
fake parrot musician.
So the problem is that as someone that works with parrots, I have a pet peeve.
Oh, is
Okay,
that
what is
right?
it?
So my parrot would have to say, "I don't eat crackers."
Ah,
That's a good one. That's a
that
really
wins
good
the
one.
day.
That's a really
That-
good
I
one.
don't care what anybody else answers. That wins
I
the
love
day.
it.
Polly does not want a cracker. Crackers do not grow in the rainforest. They're going to eat things like nuts and seeds.
Do you
and
ever want to
veggies.
just turn and say that to someone? No, no, the bird does not want a cracker.
That-
Like on a bad
I'm
day.
one of those really annoying people to watch movies that have animals in it because I have to correct everything as
That's
it's
hysterical. That's me. I'm the same. It's a woman thing. It's all right. It's fine.
That's so
Cathy,
funny.
thank you so much. And all the social media handles are Aviary, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep,
Perfect.
it's correct.
Make sure you're following along with the National Aviary. We're so happy to be here, and thanks, Cathy. Get
Thank
your
you.
tickets.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
here's a little more from the River City Brass Band. That's fantastic.
you could ask for anything more.
Oh my God.
Nice.
Huh?
I love it. I may or may not have sung a few bars. Just
Again,
saying.
the River City Brass Band. And we are coming back to a person from the aviary. And Bob, listen, I am well known on this podcast and our videos for not remembering people's faces and names.
But we've met you.
I remember you because you were on our podcast from the
He said he was not at the Allegheny
Not at the
Inn.
Allegheny Inn?
No, I was at the Allegheny.
Okay, but you didn't bring an animal.
I didn't bring an animal.
What
Right,
did we?
that's right, because we asked for a sloth, but the sloth was sleeping or
I don't.
He's
touch
not a
the animals.
handler.
I'm not a,
No,
I'm
no.
not
We
an
had this
animal
convo.
handler.
But
Yeah.
it was definitely him.
No,
How about
I
that?
was definitely there. It was a great time.
And
Yeah.
you knew that we were the Jagoffs because of that, and we appreciate
yeah,
it.
Totally.
We
sorry?
appreciate
Yeah,
it.
get real close.
Closer,
There you
closer.
go.
Sorry about that.
No,
So Bob
Bob.
Mulvihill, we were just talking about you on our radio show because we
We
could
were.
not remember this name, the ornithologist, not an ornithologist, but an
Right.
ornithologist.
Ornithologist.
And what
right.
does that entail?
So an ornithologist is someone who scientifically studies birds.
Okay.
And, if you go to the Natural History Museum down in Oakland, you're going to find a paleontologist who studies fossils. I always tell kids when we're working with them here in a group, think about being an ologist when you grow up. And you could pick the prefix, whatever
Sure.
interests you, but the ologist part means the study of. And so ornithology is the study of birds, and that's what I do. That's
And
what
how
I
do
have
you
done.
get into such a field?
You get the bird gene. I guess I got the bird gene from my mother, who loved birds, and growing up, she would feed the birds. She had the bird books on the shelf, and my brothers and sister did not get that gene, but I did.
You did.
And I could not keep my hands off the bird books.
Just by perspective, how many ornithologists are there in the country? Are there
Is it niche
that
or
actually
we-
have a job like yours
Okay.
at such a place?
I don't know.
I mean, it has to be
Is the
less
answer.
than-
Podcast
there
is
are
over.
a lot. There are a
Oh,
lot
there
of
are? Oh, okay.
I mean, there are a lot in that there are many thousands, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Of ornithologists, but this is a wonderful job that I have because I get to study birds and also teach about what I've learned about birds to the staff, to the visitors, to the media, really to anyone and everyone. So it's pretty wonderful.
And you love
But-
it, so
and
you
I
can-
and I've always
yeah.
loved to study birds, and to be able to do it at a place like the National Aviary is a privilege.
That's so wonderful
Let's
to
ask
hear.
one more perspective question, if you don't mind. When you were on the podcast the last time, you talked about what a treasure the National Aviary is, because how
Yeah.
many cities have an aviary
Right.
like this?
It's fewer than a dozen.
That's
and,
what I
And
remember.
of course, the national and that's in North America versus
North
the
America.
world. But the National Aviary, of course, because it's a premier example of a completely indoor bird zoo, it was given the official designation by an act of Congress to be our national aviary.
That's
So,
so cool.
it stands alone.
Yeah,
That
for
is
sure.
super
There's
cool.
just one national aviary.
That's right. I
Yeah.
love it. And right here in our north side, it's absolutely
It's-
beautiful.
We
Yeah, it
can't
is
say the
absolutely
because
beautiful.
Ohio State just copyrighted that, but it is the National
Oh,
Aviary,
right. How about that? Talk to us about some of the programs that we can expect, or what it is if you were at a party and someone said, Bob, what exactly do you do? How would you
Right.
explain that, like your day-to-day operation here?
It's a good question. So
Yes!
what I do,
Oh,
it
do you
is a
remember
good
that
question.
from the come
So what I do is I do really all things birds. The National Aviary's mission is to inspire respect for nature through an appreciation of birds. Think about that for a second. We want to get people to appreciate birds more by visiting the National Aviary, where they can see 150 different species, 500 birds in our space here. but also to appreciate birds in their own world, in their own backyard, in their travels. So I kind of do the thing that connects people to birds wherever they may be. I sometimes have gone to backyards and helped people to appreciate the birds in their own backyard. And I give a number of public walks and talks about birds. And I have one coming up this weekend. For example, July 9th, I'm going with people to a wonderful place called Cook Forest State Park.
I'm so glad you're going
just
to talk
north
about
of
this, because
Pittsburgh.
that's one of my questions.
And it's
okay.
a beautiful area that has some very special birds that are of more northern affinities, so you might have to go to Canada to see a lot of the kinds of birds that call Cook Forest home. And within Pennsylvania, it's one of the few places you can go and see this special community of northern or boreal birds, like hermit thrushes and Blackburnian warblers and dark-eyed juncos. So we like to take people to places where they can see birds and appreciate how many kinds of birds we have in Pennsylvania, and what kind of wonderful natural spaces we have, and not just going far away, but all around Allegheny County, thanks to Allegheny Land Trust. We have lots of great green spaces that also harbor birds, and we will often take people there to see the birds that we have locally.
I don't think I realized that. You know, you think of Allegheny County being very urban and all that, but I don't think I realized that.
Thanks to the Western Pennsylvania Conservancy and the Allegheny Land Trust specifically, we have identified some green spaces and been able to protect them for recreation
That's
and
wonderful.
for biodiversity. So we're very, very lucky. I've also found that people really enjoy going birding in different ways. So in addition to on-foot birding, like we're doing up at Cook
Sure.
Forest, I've also done these kayak birding trips on North Park Lake through a partnership with LL Bean, and those have been
saw that too,
tremendously
yeah.
popular. And they're great fun because you're getting out. A lot of people are getting in a kayak for the first time, and we're paddling around the lake for 3 hours, and we've seen osprey and bald eagles and paddle right up to great blue herons and all kinds of water birds and shore birds that are very hard to approach on foot. But if you come up in a kayak, they just kind of look at you and go, "Oh, yeah,
right.
another water thing.
It's
That's
you."
fine." Yeah.
My question is a little bit simpler. You deal with so many different, as you said, species, different types of birds. What's the underrated bird? You know, there's always, everybody wants to see the penguin. Everybody wants
Yeah.
to see the sloth. What about that bird that you go, you've
Oh.
not heard of this?
Do you mean within the National Aviary?
Yes.
Oh.
Another good question, John.
Ooh.
I don't know. Me and
I
Bob are
can-
starting a podcast
Yeah,
about
Yeah,
birds.
Take a
yeah.
vacation
That's
day.
so some underappreciated. Well, you know, I appreciate them. So it's hard to believe they're underappreciated, but possibly not enough people spend time loving our laughing kookaburra. I love our laughing
Kookaburra
kookaburra.
sits on the old gum
Tree,
tree.
Mary, Mary, king of the bushes, he.
That's not
Barney.
what I was gonna
Laugh,
sing.
kookaburra, laugh.
Well, I knew the Wiggles. Kookaburra,
Anyway,
kookaburra.
that's a fantastic bird. I think two other maybe underappreciated birds are out in Condor Court, and of course our condors. We all know, we're all excited about our
Sure.
Andean condors, of course, and the National Aviary first and foremost is about preserving species of birds around the world through our breeding programs and through reintroductions and through education and research. But out in Condor Court, in addition to the Andean condors, are often the laughing kookaburras are out there, and two other species that are, I think, underappreciated: the demoiselle cranes and the king vultures. Spectacular birds, both.
How about that?
Yeah.
Wait,
I know nothing,
Let me
but
fo-
it's funny because
let me follow up on that because we're in competition. But no,
there isn't one.
what is the smallest bird that's alive, and what is the biggest bird?
Again, are you asking at the aviary or
let's say,
at
actually,
the
let's do
aviary?
both.
Well, okay, the aviary we have probably the smallest bird is the bridled white-eye. It's a little bird, not much bigger than a kind of a chickadee-sized bird or a little
Okay.
bit smaller. And our biggest bird is probably our stellar seagull, probably Kodiak.
Really?
good old- yeah,
Yeah.
Kodiak. It's a toss up between Kodiak and the Andean condor.
what would be their
depending
wingspan?
by depending on which measure you use.
Sure. What would be their wingspan?
10 feet
Really?
Yeah, well, not for the stellars. For the Andean
Yeah,
condors, about
right.
10 feet. For the stellars, about 7.5 feet. I guess the Andean condor is actually
Okay.
is bigger, I have
Oh.
to say. But Kodiak was the first thing that popped in my
I love
mind.
that you know that so quickly. Like there's no referencing. It's just kind of like I can give you this information.
Yeah, and in the outdoors in Pittsburgh, the smallest bird is the ruby-throated hummingbird, and the largest bird is, again, by whether you're talking about by weight or by wingspan, is going to be something like, a wild turkey or a big swan.
Okay.
Something like that. Yeah,
turkeys,
those are
man.
some of the heaviest flying birds.
Wow.
You are so knowledgeable. I'm not a bird person because I get like, oh my gosh, but I have an intrigue to know a little bit more, and you certainly are that person. to
What
give
is
that
the
out.
one mistake people make by coming to the aviary? Like, I remember coming here as a Cub Scout. We just kind of look at the birds. And what's the what's the best
Like
way
a-
to tour it
I
to
totally-
really get
Yeah.
the best?
I've got my answer.
Okay.
On this one, the one mistake, and it's really not a mistake,
Yeah, right.
but the one thing that people don't think
Underestimate.
about that they would really get a better experience if they did is to bring.
I was just gonna say, look at
Binoculars,
those
yeah.
props.
Binoculars.
Yeah.
If you bring binoculars and put them right on those birds, it's a whole. I mean, it's a different experience. So we do have binoculars. I believe now that we rent. You may
Okay.
rent a pair of binoculars if you don't have your own. Right as you come in and get your tickets, you can ask about renting a pair. I think it totally changes the experience of being at the National Aviary. I like the idea of going birding at the National Aviary. Like, don't just come and wander and kind of half notice things, but like go birding. Like, see how many species you can see.
Bob is giving BYOB a whole new meaning. Bring your own binoculars,
your own
or you
bins.
can rent them here. There
Yeah,
you go.
totally.
Bob, thank you so much for the time. And everybody follows you, all the same social channels. Do you have your own kind of social channel for people? What
I
is it?
do. Yeah. So I'm Robert S. Mulvihill on Facebook. People are welcome to send me friend requests, and I'm Bob Mulvihill on Twitter. And that's really all I do. I'm not an Instagram
okay.
guy. I'm not a TikTok guy. I
And
don't
this
do
is
any of
all
the
more
other
for
things.
bird. Like you actually
It's
show
all
the
birds
art of
all the
birding.
time.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. We'll put it in the show
well,
notes.
and beagles. I have beagles at home.
The two
so
bees.
you're going to have to see my dogs too, but it's mostly birds.
No
Bob,
worries.
I know you really love birds, but there's a testament. Do you still get mad when right after you wash your car, a bird poops on your car? That's
What?
a treasure.
I'm so sorry that he asked you that question.
Wait a minute. No.
We were building a repertoire here.
Wash your car? What are you,
I don't wanna
what
see
are you
your car,
talking
Bob.
about?
Well done.
You don't want to see a field ornithologist's car. Believe
Well
me.
played. Well played.
That was good, John. Question of the day, Bob. Did you
Yep.
hear it already?
I did.
Okay, what's your answer? And I'll
Well, give
repeat
it-
it. All right.
repeat the
If
question.
you had a parrot of your own, what phrase would you want it to learn?
Let me see how to phrase this so that I don't offend anybody.
Uh-oh.
All right, if I had a parrot, the phrase I would want it to say to everybody is, plastics stink.
Oh, okay.
Plastic stink.
Oh, and
Plastic
he
stink.
even has the way it would be
I
said.
am very anti-plastic.
Okay.
I just keep reading more and more about all the damage that plastics are doing in our world, and it's horrendous, and it's simply for our convenience.
Good point.
There is no reason we need to change our ways with regard to plastic, and don't think that just throwing it in the recycling bin is keeping it from ultimately causing pollution, because we know that it's not.
Yeah.
And the best way in the 3 R's, reduce, reuse, recycle, work on the reduce and the reuse.
Yeah.
Part of that
I
equation.
love it.
I
That's
love
a great
it.
point. Thank
Bob
you so much,
Mulvihill,
Bob.
National Aviary's ornithologist, and now we have more music from the River
Thank
City
you. It was a
Brass
pleasure.
Band.
That was awesome. That was great. Thank you. I enjoyed you. Like I said, that was fantastic.
Good to see you guys. Yeah, let's do it again.
Thank you guys for helping us.
All right. How about that? Rachel was just
We were
saying
done.
as they were playing that you could just sit here and have a few drinks. What'd you say?
Don't applaud, just throw money.
Throw money, right. Right.
He's something.
But you were saying that you could just sit out here on this little
gosh.
porte-cochere porch. What
Yeah.
is this thing? Kind of a
I
deck?
called it Rachel's veranda.
Yeah, veranda.
Yes.
All right,
And
so
just
we have
a drink.
another Northsider here.
Ish.
Right.
Yes.
Well, Light Mission is right here in the
It really
Northside.
is. It makes me happy. Colleen, thank you so much for coming on and
Thanks
chatting with
for
us.
having us.
We're so excited because, Pittsburgh is so serendipitous. John and I actually spoke at 2 different events this week, one for Hampton Rotary and one for, what was Tom's event? It was a
the
bunch of
North Hills
nonprofits.
Chamber or North Hills.
Tom Baker.
Yeah.
North Hills.
Oh,
It was the
Tom.
nonprofit thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was all different nonprofits, and someone from your camp was there, and she was like, I just heard that we're working with, Frizzy was with us, and it was, we're working with all of you. So we're perfect timing that we can spread the word about Light of Life. So
It's
this
a
is
Yinzer
great.
thing right
It's
there.
a Yinzer thing.
Yeah.
And you're here to talk mostly about the Yinzer 5K, right?
I am. Well,
Awesome.
nope. It's
No.
not a 5K. It is a
It's a-
4.12K.
Yes.
I forgot.
Yes.
I forgot.
Yes.
Talk to us a little bit about that in case people aren't aware.
Yes, so this is our 10th anniversary, but it's the
How about
second
that?
year that we're working with the Pittsburgh Marathon. So we
Right.
are a legit race now. And it is Yinzer 4.12K. That we changed that. It was a 5K,
Right.
but we thought it was a little too boring. And we were like, we were brainstorming one day, and we were like, nobody's doing a 4.12K.
I love it.
So we trademarked it. And we have the little Yinzer 0.412K.
So
It is a race for everybody, whether you are 2 years old and you just want to run with your parents, or if you are 92. We had a lady who was 81 run last year.
Oh my
She
gosh.
kind of walked. She didn't really run.
Yeah,
but
but
it is
still.
just, it's 2.5 miles. Who can't do that? Who can't have fun? It is food trucks and music, and it's just a whole entire morning of just some fun things to do around the north side and north shore.
In
so
10
we'll run there.
years. Isn't that crazy?
That's amazing.
Where'd
Now
that time go?
And the money that you're raising is for the Light of Life mission.
Correct.
And we know it to be over on Federal East North Avenue, but you also have a brand new facility kind of sitting back over there, or down by the 279 interchange, right?
Ironically, we're under a bridge. We're
Yeah.
under the Veterans Bridge.
Oh, that is
and that is
right.
our new building. It's been open for about a little over a year, and that's all of our emergency services and outreach come there. So when you
Okay.
see someone who's homeless or a tent, up along the trails, we have people that go out every single day to engage and build a relationship with them and offer them a meal to come in, shelter, so that way they can, that's the first step of getting back on their feet. So we've been doing it for 70 years. We've been on the north side since 1952. And we did build that building. We will sell the building on North Avenue. And then right behind us is our new building that'll open next year, which is for our long-term care. So we have people coming out of addiction that can live with us
wow.
up to 2 years, both men and women with children as well. They live in scattered housing, and we help them get back on their feet through education, employment, and get a clean and sober life. So we're doing a lot of good work on the north side.
No
that's
question.
for sure.
And I hate to ask it, but I'm assuming that unfortunately due to the pandemic, would you say that there was an increase in the needs?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And not just with the pandemic, mental health issues
Absolutely,
have really
yeah.
skyrocketed. We're seeing a lot of that. Addiction with the opioid issues that have been going on. And then you have, the whole rental issue where people, who, and the economy, all of that is just making a perfect storm for increase in our
For need,
services
yeah.
and needs. So, but we're not going anywhere. We're there. We have our doors open every single day. Even during the pandemic, we had our doors open. We put up tents. We brought in hand washing stations, and we just served the people and with dignity and respect, which, everyone needs.
Absolutely.
In the meantime, you're doing great work. You're being able to service more. What percentage of the homeless population or the addicted population that might be roaming around, what what percentage are you hitting, and what percentage, even more importantly, are we missing as a city?
Well, the city and the county really has a lot to do with the homelessness.
Okay.
They really do a lot of outreach. But I would say compared to other cities, we're doing really well. We're out there.
Okay.
We're meeting the need. Operation Safety Net is out there as well, which we partner with them a lot. We partner with probably 45 different organizations to meet the different needs, whether it's Northside Christian Health Center we work with to make sure that vaccinations can happen for homeless people. So Pittsburgh does pretty well, and the city is building a new homeless shelter down on First Avenue, Second Avenue area that's going to be a low barrier shelter. So we work together with them, and they look at Light of Life because we've been around for so long to really help them. We were part of the planning with the new shelter of what services need to be there, and so I would say overall for the 800 or so homeless that are in Allegheny County each night, we're reaching a pretty substantial portion.
Oh, that's
of them.
fantastic.
Yeah.
That is
Well,
great.
as Pittsburghers, we like to be number one at everything, and
Yes,
the,
we
right?
need
so
to be.
including
especially
that,
something
right?
like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to help more, and there's always need to help. Back to the not 5K, but I love the fact that it's the 412. Tell us what we can expect this year. Should I assume that year 10 is kind of bigger and better than ever, right?
Absolutely. And being with the Pittsburgh Marathon, they've been great
yeah.
at helping us to run a legit race. And so it starts right at Heinz Field. And you said Frizzy, and you mentioned him. He's going to be our MC, which is fabulous.
Yeah,
we
right.
just love him. But then on the Great Lawn, we're going to have Shorties, who's also a North Shore people. They're going to have some lawn games. The Moonshot Museum is going to be down there. They're a North
Love
Side.
them.
Get John's
Yeah.
face.
North
Oh.
Side people too.
Yes.
They're going to have some exhibits down there for the kids. And the race will take off. But then during the race, there's going to be activations. It's not your typical race. You're going to have to avoid some squirt guns. You're going to have to avoid
No
some beach balls
kidding.
being thrown
That's
at you.
cute.
There's a foam party. Yeah, it's really great. So North Shore Tavern's one of our sponsors. Clearview Savings Credit Union is one of our sponsors. And
Love
they'll have
Clearview.
things going on. They're so great.
So great.
They'll have misting things. They'll have, so it's not your typical race.
This is-
So you don't want people to sweat. You're like, we get
Oh.
it that you get annoyed about sweating. Tracy, we can sweat in this and we can get squirted as we go. Because, once you're at that age as women, we don't want to sweat if we don't have
I
to.
like the fact that it's a 4.12,
I
but
love it.
everybody's going to think it's a 5K. So when I get in and my time is really short, I'll be like, oh yeah,
I'm
that
not
was
good.
my,
I have a
that was my
personal
5K.
best.
too.
Yes. yes.
Yeah.
We do have some legitimate runners who take advantage of it, but we have prizes for, I see you have a 21 hat on. If you come in 21st, you'll probably win prizes to, the Roberto Clemente
Oh, yeah.
Museum.
That's a great idea.
31st or 32nd. Oh, he'll kill me. I said 31st. 32nd, Franco Harris signed a football for us. He's a great supporter. If you come in 57th, you'll probably end up with some kind of Heinz product. If you come in 143rd, you'll get a Pittsburgh Love basket from our friends at Pittsburgh Love. And if you come in last, there's a special surprise from the Carnegie Museum
That is
snail
awesome.
guy.
That is such a
It's
good idea.
so much fun, and there's
Yeah.
a costume contest. So we've
What's
had
the costume contest, though? I did read that.
so the costume contest is who kind of exhibits being the Pittsburgher. And so last year we had a guy, it was sweltering hot, and he ran like Mr. Rogers with a cardigan and his little sneakers,
Oh,
and
God,
he
love
won
him.
the contest. We've had Pittsburghers run his ketchup bottles, as we had 3 women run as the Sister Bridges. So it is just, it's just
cute.
so much fun. You never know what to expect, and that's why we just think that it's so great of an event for us to have.
We have a
Such a
history
good
with
idea.
the race when it was up at the North Park Boathouse. We took the party peddler up there.
Yes.
And we started to pedal it, and we waited till everybody left the starting gate, and then we stopped pedaling and then went backwards. And we waited for them to come back around, and we're like, yeah, we did the
That's
whole
so
thing.
funny.
Because we thought there's no way we're pedaling this thing up and down
Yeah,
all
right.
these hills.
Oh,
We had
that's
Selena Pompiani on that
Oh,
thing.
she's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, we cheated with the party peddler on a 5K.
That's so funny.
I mean,
I
Good to
think
you.
there's probably people who have cheated at other places
Okay,
within our
good.
race too. Yeah,
You're absolving him. Is that what's happening
absolutely.
right now?
Yes, you have our blessing.
Where does everyone find you so that they have to register, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, so the proceeds, like you said, go to Light of Life.
Yep.
And so there is a registration fee. Right now for adults, it's $45. But if you refer somebody, you get $4.12 off your registration. So you and a friend, do it so that way you get that $4.12 off. It's $45. It'll go up to $50 in August. So now's the time to register. We have over 400 people already registered.
That's wonderful.
So we're expecting 1,000 people, but you can also do it virtually. So if you're a expatriate,
Sure.
Yinzer living somewhere else, we want you to do it too. In fact, we're going to probably, we just worked with Visit Pittsburgh to bring you back, or Yins back to Pittsburgh.
Say it right.
So,
Come on, Colleen.
Exactly.
Well done.
So we want to bring you back to Pittsburgh. And so you'll get 2 flights back to Pittsburgh. You'll get to stay down at the Holiday Inn Express on the North Shore. You'll get to have dinner at North Shore Tavern.
How
so
cool
we
is
want to bring a
that?
Pittsburgher back or 2. So
I'm doing
So tell your friends.
yes,
That's
so
amazing.
do it everywhere.
Yeah,
We have
what
people
incentive.
already registered in 16 states and Germany. I don't know why somebody in Germany is doing this, but we're thrilled. It's
Yeah.
a lot of excitement. But we want people in all 50 states to run and show their Yinzer black and gold. So, so to find us, you go on P3R's website, which is p3r.org, and you'll just go to the Yinzer race, and you can register there, and it's going to just be a blast. So,
I love this.
Yeah.
Such a good idea.
It's
So
August
clever.
20th.
August 20th.
Yeah, and
yep.
the start time is...
For the little Yinzer, it's 8:30, and for the Yinzer 4.12K, it's 9 o'clock. And so then you'll have food trucks. Our food truck will be there, which is Rescue Dogs. We have gourmet hot dogs there. Millie's ice cream will be there. We'll have
Love
coffee. We love Millie's too. They're a great supporter.
Yep.
And so it'll, I'm sure there'll be an Eaton Park cookie or 2. So so we just want everybody to come and have fun, run, but also just have some fun. There'll be a concert. So
And recognize the good work that you all are doing.
thanks so much.
What's the concert? Is it Frizzy?
It's Frizzy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is great. So go to the website, register. Don't be a jagoff. Do it sooner than later, because then you're going to complain that it's $50 in August. So make sure you do it now. Question of the day.
Yes.
If you had your own parrot, because we know you're not affiliated with the aviary, what would you want it to learn to say?
I would say, so it would keep me from saying it so many times, pick that thing up.
That's another good one.
Between my husband and my kids, they don't
Oh,
pick
yeah.
things up. And so I would want a parrot just to take that part of my job over.
How about that? Just so you don't have to repeat yourself.
Exactly.
I love it. One more time, the website so that people can go.
P3R.org.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you so much,
Thanks
Colleen.
so
have
much,
a wonderful
guys.
day.
Appreciate
All
it.
right.
Perfect.
And
Back to
some
these
more.
guys. Say it right, John. Hit it, YaJagoff.
Hit it, you jagoffs.
Thank you so much. Yeah, this was great.
We're looking forward to being a part of this.
Yeah, this was really fun. Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Every time you try to book me, I've been traveling.
Don't clap, throw money. Don't clap, throw money.
So,
River City Brass Band once again.
Doug
thanks.
Oster, welcome back to the
John,
YaJagoff Podcast.
we thought he ghosted us, but he didn't. He's just been a really busy guy, and he's traveling.
I've been traveling. You know how much I love being on the show.
We appreciate it. We love having you, and that's why we were
It's
sad
so
we
much
hadn't
fun.
seen
It's
you.
so funny when I've been sitting over there Bob Mulvihill still has his binoculars on, and I said, "Are you looking at them?" He goes, "No, I'm looking at the birds."
Oh yeah, I'm sure he has no interest. They're much more interesting than
Yeah, you
us.
see the birds flitting around here, and he's
So
figuring out
cool.
what they are and what they're doing, and
Kind of like you
yeah,
with gardening.
yeah.
You know a little bit about everything. What is your tie? We want to catch up with you, of course, but what is your tie specifically here?
Boy, that goes way back, actually. And I go way back with Bob, actually. Birds and gardening go hand in hand.
Sure.
By not using chemicals in your garden, you're inviting the birds in. The birds are going to eat the bugs. They're going to help you garden. And so I've interviewed Bob many times and had him on my radio show many times to talk about that, what you can do to grow things that help the birds,
Right.
and how you can garden to help the birds. This is the place to learn that. There's a lot of great information here.
Yeah.
And they're leading by example. You just look at this garden behind us. That is a nice place for the birds to do their thing. You've got cover, a place for them to hide, staging areas. You've got some water out there, for the birds, and a food source.
Right.
So it's perfect.
Yeah. Hand in hand.
Doug, I think we talked a little bit about this the last time you were on when we were out at the Homestead Works or
Carrie Furnace.
Carrie Furnace,
Yep.
right?
Loved it.
But
One of my favorites.
I'm looking at this garden here, and it looks very simple. Like, it looks very easy to take care of, but maybe it's not. But I think...
Have you ever seen a garden that's easy to take care of?
Have you been to my house?
And so,
Yeah.
but we also know that some Pittsburghers will plant things that don't grow here. You know what I mean? They don't do well here. But what are some of the indigenous plants, flowers, things that look pretty versus just kind of being
That's
plain?
a great question,
God.
because we're talking about natives now.
Okay.
And so first off, defining
He said, great
defining
question.
a native. It was a good question.
Mediocre at best.
Not
Mediocre.
as good as your question.
Thank you, Doug.
What is a native?
Yeah.
Is it something that was here 100 years ago, 200 years ago, or 1,000 years ago? So first, it's deciding what a native is. And so we're looking at usually plants that were here before colonization. But then you've got, you've got a native, meaning a plant that has grown here for hundreds of years, and so we know that it's good for the pollinators. We know that it's tough because it grows here. But then what happens when a breeder takes that and maybe improves it a little bit and gives it a different color? As long as the pollinator or wildlife can still use it, you've got to make these decisions in your garden.
Sure.
We're hearing a lot about natives, a lot about people wanting to grow natives, which is a positive. Native trees, native plants is a positive, but there's also part of it where you're growing things for you too. And so you're growing things that are beautiful and might have been developed in, an Asian country or something, and not a native. And so when we're talking about natives, there's a million great native plants. It's always about the right plant for the right place. And so when you're referencing this garden out here, that's what they have here. They have plants that are going to thrive in this environment where you're out in the open, a little bit of shade. When I think of native plants, one of the things that comes to mind is this. It's called Cardinal Flower, and natives get a bad rap because you kind of inferred it in your question. Something that's beautiful, that's indigenous.
Oh, yeah.
The natives. People think like native. How pretty can it be? Well, Cardinal Flower is one of the most beautiful flowers you'll ever see, and if you're out on a kayak, like I spent a lot of time on a kayak, just seeing it growing in the side of a lake, this would be the perfect thing in your garden for an area that you can have some moisture, have a little bit of shade. Right plant, right place is everything, and you inferred that too. That us as Pittsburghers, we try and grow things that we can't grow.
He's talking
Yeah.
about me, Doug. He's
No,
always
I'm
talking
referring
about
to-
me too. 'Cause he's talking about.
What I think about is Colin standing here. He has a T-shirt with a birds of paradise on it.
yeah. He
And
doesn't have
not
it on
today, but
today,
and that's, to me, that's like the epitome of a pretty flower, like for my taste. And I just, I know that you can never grow that here, so I look at
inside. Though,
could grow it
yeah,
inside.
they bloom
no
at
question,
trips,
yeah,
you know.
yeah. But I'm thinking like outside, that what looks like something that's going to flower. Like this is a great mixture of
It's
green and
beautiful, yeah.
pinks and yellows and all that. So I just and it looks simple though.
It's not simple.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, there's 3 things to make you a successful gardener or a successful garden. First is improving the soil. Okay, so those planting holes have been improved with something good, like compost or something like that.
Sure.
Second, know when the plant goes in the ground. You know, thinking
yes.
about frost, thinking about when it's going to be happy. Like, you know, it's real tough to plant things in midsummer. We do it, but we wait for cloudy days. We wait for the end of the day. And then thirdly, don't let them dry out. And that's when you're saying simple, don't let it dry out is the hard part right now. So all that garden there, and I can't see if it has irrigation down there, but it's either someone has to water it or somebody has to regulate the system there, because without water, it's not simple.
But you can overwater, right, Doug?
It's possible.
Now,
It's
and
hard to do out here, but
Sure.
pretty easy to do inside.
But I also see that there's stones. So there's mulch and there's stones, and those things look nice, but they also have a role for protecting the plants, right?
Well, it might be ornamental, but it also might be to warm things up a little bit there in the soil. You know, that's one way that people use, stones as a mulch. And you got to watch that, though. You know, too much of that could get too hot for certain plants. In this area here, you know, you're seeing some sun-loving plants out there that it can't get too hot for them. You know, you got coneflower and then acetum out there, and black-eyed Susans. These are like tough prairie plants.
Okay.
You know, indestructible. That's why they're chosen for that area.
They're the mill hunkies of the plants.
Oh my God.
Right?
Jesus, Mary and
I
Joseph.
have no idea what that word
I-
A
No
mill
one
hunky.
knows
A
what
mill
it-
hunky.
No.
Oh, you didn't know what a mill hunky were the guys that would put on all these heavy suits and stand there where the steel would come down in like the hottest
out.
part of the furnace.
Look at
yeah.
you.
Yeah. So they were like the toughest people in the plant.
These are the mill hunkies.
There
Okay.
you go.
Doug, give me
All
some of
right,
that.
right on.
There you go.
Doug, we joke, but we're serious. You know, we have Leslie Bonsi on quarterly as well as you, other than how busy you were this year. And Leslie talks to us so fairly about, you know, I'm not here to shame you on what you're eating, right or wrong. Same with you. You're not here to say to those of us who truly do need the help, I'm here to help you. I want to support it. In the summertime, and I know you've talked about this briefly in the past, but what are some tips other than the 3 that you gave that you could say in the summer, these things are vital to kind of have a nicer garden? Fertilization, okay.
Especially for containers.
Okay.
You know, we talked about it already. Don't let it
Sure.
dry out. But right after you water, that's the perfect time to fertilize, especially with a liquid fertilizer.
Okay.
You know, I use an organic liquid fertilizer. It's made from fish. It smells like low tide when you apply it. When I do the house,
Oh, wow.
When I do the house plants, I make sure that my wife is like going
Yeah.
to visit mom first. Even that, when I come back, she's like, "Were you?" I said, "Yes, I was." But
She knows.
outdoors, you can't smell it. But as an organic gardener, I don't want to negatively affect anything that's in that soil.
Sure.
So when I'm putting in an organic fish-based fertilizer, everything from microbes to earthworms are going to be okay. They're going to help me garden, and I'm helping that plant by feeding it. It's going to eat up the nutrients in that soil quickly in a container, and so we're always fertilizing. And it's the one thing that people they just don't do as much as they should do.
Yeah.
When I interviewed a friend of mine who used to run the horticulture program at the zoo here in Pittsburgh, I said, "How do you keep these containers looking so good?" He goes, "During the high season, meaning the long days from June to August, every time we water, we fertilize." I'm like, that makes
It just becomes routine,
it
like
makes a
anything
lot of
else.
sense,
If that's
yeah.
what you put into your routine,
yeah.
that's what's
And
gonna
let's say
better
that
it.
you had a container that was completely dried out, and you went to fertilize it with a liquid fertilizer. Well, it's just going to kind of run right through. You know, you water it first, let it soak in. You know, you go do your watering, let it soak in. Now, when you add that fertilizer, it's not just going to fall out of the
Right.
bottom. It's just going to kind of soak in there, and then the roots can use it. That's important. And then the other thing is, if you didn't get your garden in, there's still time to do it. You know, we say this isn't the best planting weather midsummer, but if we wait for the right day, a day that's a little overcast, or we wait till the end of the day, you know, you can find great bargains right now at the nurseries and add it to your garden. Let's say you haven't planted, let's say you love hot peppers.
Mm-hmm.
There's hot peppers at the nursery. I picked up some the other day.
Yep.
On sale. They already have little hot peppers on them. You stick them in decent soil, water them in, mulch them. You're going to get hot peppers by the end of the season.
How about that?
lots of hanging baskets. At this point, people have stopped buying. It's all on sale. And so Mr. Cheapskate here.
This is good.
I'm there 2 or 3 times a week. I'm seeing what's there, how it looks, and when it's going to be going on sale next. And do I have time to plant it? One thing that I'm putting in right now, again, being the cheapskate, is there's different things with tender bulbs underneath. But some begonias have a bulb underneath. A thing called a caladium. It's just a pretty foliage plant. Cannas, other lilies, they all have a tuber underneath. So I'm buying them at half price now, putting them in, and then I'm saving that bulb or tuber over the winter
okay.
Such a good
and
idea.
bragging about it the next day, next year when I'm putting them into the greenhouse, and I'm like, I only had to buy these once.
There you go.
And I feel good about it. Dahlias are another thing like that too. And like a dahlia is a flower that comes into its own in August. And so planting it now is awesome. And any of these plants that, like, say you like dahlias are a great example because people don't want to grow them because they don't want to save that tuber. But I tell them, don't deny yourself the beauty of a dahlia just because you let it freeze out. It's okay. You're buying it as an annual, So any of these other plants I'm talking about that me as a cheapskate, I want to save the tuber, and I know how to save the tuber. But you could still buy them cheap, and you've got July, August, September, and probably nowadays, most of October, 4 more months of no frost.
Yeah.
And so I'm always encouraging people because they're calling the radio show. They're telling me like, oh, I didn't get my this in or that in. I said, well, there's still time. Tomatoes, man, they're giving them away.
That's my favorite.
Big 2-gallon.
I love fresh tomatoes.
Big plants in 2-gallon containers for like $10. It's already have tomatoes on it. You just stick it in the ground, or you put it in a bigger container.
My mother-in-law just did that actually, and I can't believe how many she has.
And you'll get tomatoes. They actually love this warm weather as long as you don't stress them out with trying to go out there at noon when it's 90 degrees and there's full sun. Like I said, cloudy day, like when you're always looking at the weather. I'm always, we got rain yesterday, which was a godsend for me because all I've been doing is watering.
Okay.
And I hate watering. And so I'm watching, I'm looking at the app, I'm seeing where the front is. I'm like, am I going to get rain? Am I going to get rain?
You're calling Ray Petlin?
Woke up Ray. Hey, Ray. Woke up this morning and saw the patio was all wet. Went out and saw, I left the wheelbarrow up. I'm like, okay, how much water's in there? An inch of water. Okay, we got enough to get us through the next week. I don't have to worry about it, because there's a lot to water.
Sure.
30 by 40 vegetable garden, shrubs, trees, all this stuff.
Yeah.
Where are you going to use the water, and how much time are you going to spend
That's why
doing
John's
it?
glad that he rents.
No doubt about
I know, that's what he's thinking.
No doubt about it.
Doug, before we ask you the question of the day, though, tell us about what the new thing is in your life.
I have a new TV show for CBS Pittsburgh streaming. It's hard to find. You got to have a streaming link. Saturdays, 9 a.m., but then I put it up on YouTube. And it's just following the season through all these jobs. This week's show shows how devastated I was when the deer got into the vegetable garden and was like teenagers. Yeah. They got caught in the tomato cages. It was awful.
Oh, for crying out loud.
It was awful. I said during the taping, I'm like, I'm going to go over in a corner and cry.
Jeez.
There was a tomato cage that was over there now that was here. I said, I thought kids somehow
ransacked it. Yeah.
But then I saw what was on the ground all around, and I said, "Oh,
that's not kids.
That's not kids.
Oh my God.
These 2 young bucks are running wild, and I don't know even how they got in.
Oh, for crying out loud.
But it was a heartbreaker.
But check that out, because that's a really awesome
And I'm having
thing.
a lot of fun doing it.
I'm
That's
so glad
pretty
to hear
awesome.
that.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
I mean, your work is very visual, so that's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
it's
It just
great.
shows you how to do it. I
Yeah.
showed my favorite plants and how they do and how you grow them. And I did water and fertilization this week, and it's just a lot of fun. And it's all with my friends from Davey Tree.
Yes.
And I have an arborist come on, and this is great because I had this rhododendron fall over, so I was just like, okay, let's film fixing the rhododendron.
Yeah, right.
Now I have a professional certified arborist coming showing me how to fix this, and it's part of the show. So
That's wonderful.
and I get my work done.
No one deserves it more. Where does everybody follow you for somebody who might not know
It's
Doug
all
Oster?
it's all at DougOster.com.
Yep.
Anything that I'm doing is going to be there. This show runs live and the TV show. But then I put it up on the site. So
And we'll put it in the show notes. Doug, did you hear our question of the day?
I did, and mine.
What's
is
your parrot saying?
My parrot's gonna say, "I can't get no," and that's satisfaction. Because I'm a big Stones fan. But I got to cheat because I got to think about the question. But that's
You
what
did, but
the
that's
first
good.
thing when I first heard the question, that's what came to my mind. Some kind of Rolling Stones thing, and I said, "Well, it's got to be satisfaction."
That's awesome. That was great, and I love that we have music accompaniment.
My
Doug
wife,
Oster.
my wife doesn't like the Stones, so I don't know how that would go over.
I'm not a big fan. Doug, it's always a pleasure. We have to get your schedule so that Tracy can get you on. We have to double you up since you missed a couple months here. So always a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Doug.
And one more time with the River City Brass Band, and then we're going to chat a little bit.
And then we're going to chat with them right after.
Thank you. This was great. We appreciate it. Always a pleasure.
You can do something real short if you want. Whatever you want.
I want to be on the phone.
Oh, I know you do. I appreciate that. And in all seriousness, if we need to get you, if you have something you want to talk
So now we're going to bring James Gourlay over here. Dun, da, 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 da. Listen, if you don't know the name of James Gourlay, you would look at the face or hear the voice, and you would say, "That's the guy we see on TV, always promoting the band," and that band would be the River City Brass Band.
Absolutely. River City Brass Band makes Pittsburgh unique.
Well,
and you sound just like Pittsburgh.
Well,
Yeah,
my
you're
accent, everybody knows that my accent is from the South Hills of Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I can tell.
Well, that's exactly how we wanted to start this conversation, because we found out the National Aviary is unique. There aren't many. It's the only one, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And then you turn around, and how many cities have a brass band like you guys at the size of what you guys?
Is it as common?
A professional brass
Yes.
band with a subscription series for which you can get on our our website.
That was well done.
One
Really?
in the world, not only in the United States of America.
Chills.
Did not
Yeah.
know that. Wow.
The only one
Wow.
That
in
is
the whole
amazing.
wide world, in the planet and universe, as
And you
far
wanna
as we
keep it
know.
that way, or
Unless
you do?
E.T. suddenly takes up the tuba.
Wow. What is it about? Is it your appreciation for music in general?
That keeps me here.
Yes.
It's I like
Is
to
it all music?
we play you name a kind of music and genre of music and we play it, from the
Yeah.
classical right through pop and rock, doo-wop, you name it,
Yes.
we can play it, because we have great arrangers in house. They've got fantastic pseudonyms like Glenn Livette. Hey, how about that? Or how about Joseph Green, which is English for Giuseppe Verdi?
There you go.
So we've got these secret arrangers that arrange for us, and you want a song, you got it.
Wow.
Now, what is the history behind the River City Brass Band? Because I didn't know it as a kid, but I know it's been around for a long time. This is deep roots in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that goes right back to 1981. A really visionary.
Oh, really? Okay, I
yeah.
thought it was even longer than that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, no, I mean, 1981 is when we started, the 21st of November. A visionary musician called Robert Bernat went to England, and he studied the brass band movement there, and he thought, that's something I can bring back to industrial Pittsburgh, and it will thrive there and grow there. And he was perfectly right. He started with one concert, and now we have a subscription series, 5 months of concerts. We travel all through the United States. We even have toured the band to Australia and Italy, and even to Johnstown.
I was just going to say, here's my fun fact of knowing. I went to University of Pittsburgh in Johnstown. I graduated in 98.
Right.
And one of my first assignments for journalism was to cover the fact that River City Brass Band was there. And I was like, oh, God, who wants to, I'm 22. Who wants to do that? And I was smitten, completely smitten.
That's what happens when people come to our shows. They like us, and they
Yes.
keep coming back because it's very uplifting. It's very family friendly. There's something for everybody. You'll never go out of the theatre thinking, "Oh, I hated that show." You might think, "I hated that Scotsman," but
I don't think so.
I've only had one complaint about being Scottish.
From who?
In the 12 years, that was my wife.
Oh.
Well set up.
You set him up. I'll take him.
You're good. You're good.
That was good. Now, the musicians, do they do other things and then play when you play, or how does this work? You're the full-time director.
I'm the full-time director,
Yes.
and we have a small administrative staff that deals with the subscriptions, etc., and the tickets. But the musicians are paid. They're paid for all the services that they play for the band. Most of them are music teachers. They've graduated from universities around here. They're actually mostly local heroes, people who have grown up in Pittsburgh. They've been educated in Pittsburgh. Even many of them have come through our own youth programs, and as adults have enjoyed their performances with the band, which is a great thing. So it's like a cradle to the grave. We have young people coming from the cradle or through our youth programs starting age 5, and it goes through to folks like me who are 392.
The legacy of it is so wonderful,
Exactly.
right?
Well,
Yeah.
that's a grassroots community thing, and that's what brass bands in the UK, where that genre originated, are all about. It's a political movement, if you like, a socialist movement. We are not that at River City Brass Band, but our mission is to take music into the community, be in the community, and be for the community. And I'm glad to say we live up to that.
Oh, my gosh.
So no, go ahead. You
No,
have.
you're
You
fine.
go.
Oh, someday go. Come on,
Somebody
someday,
ask
someday
us
Ask
go.
yourself a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but that's actually even good. What is it when you meet someone? We say this as our blanket statement a lot. When you meet someone and they say, "What do you do?" What is your answer when you really explain what your mission is?
Well, that's the whole point of the River City Brass, going into the community with music that entertains and educates. It's our dual function. So entertainment, we do that in the concerts. But education, we have a School of Brass which meets on a Saturday morning in Penn Hills. It's free of charge to the kids from the Penn Hill School District. And they get access to the top musicians from the River City Brass, like Algirdas Matonis, who's sitting over there. And we start them off aged 5, and that goes through 3 groups, mini kids, and our youth brass band, and it's a free program. Wonderful thing. We put instruments in the hands of the kids, teach them how to play that. And we all know the benefits of learning a musical instrument. I mean, it makes you super cool like me, but and gives you
Smarter.
good communication skills, and
Yeah.
unfortunately it gives you a Scottish accent if you're not careful.
If you do it too long.
Yeah, if you do it too long.
Now, we always remember like the Pittsburgh Symphony going around the world and representing Pittsburgh, and they had that special boat here years ago and all that kind of stuff. But how often do you guys go out and represent all of us around the world?
Well, the thing is, with the new social media, we don't need to go out
Oh, I guess
to
that's a good
represent
point.
us, because
Yeah.
we have a very, very lively presence on YouTube. The individual musicians, like Algirdas Matonis, he has a whole business online, selling online lessons and materials, promoting instruments. So the new social media outlets have given us incredible
Isn't that
access
great
to
to
the
hear?
world.
Yeah.
For example, we ran a competition for composers, and we asked them to send in their pieces. There was a good prize, like a couple of $1,000 prize. We had 69 entries. The furthest away was in New Zealand.
Oh my.
One of the finalists was an Australian. Another finalist came from Poland. And so this makes us a totally international group. So if you're a brass player, if you're a brass band player in particular, you know the River City Brass Band, and you know its uniqueness, and you know its place in its Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And that's why I came, because some chap that I had no idea who he was wrote to me about 14 years ago, and said, "Hey, Dr. Gourlay, would you know anybody who would be interested in being the new music director of the River City Brass Band?" And I wrote back saying, "Nah, I don't know anybody. But I'm a freelance, and if you've got any gigs, I'll take them." And they had some gigs.
Yeah.
And so I came over, and at first I thought, wow, look at this place, it's fantastic. I stayed over there in the Mexican war streets, right next to the mattress factory. I walked around this park, and I thought, if these guys offer me a job, this is a good place. And you know what was really interesting? In those days, there was no cameras on the phones.
Sure.
I had a video camera, and I did a video diary. And I went into a barber shop over there on the north side where, I still had hair in those days. And there were a bunch of guys there. And I said, "Hey, does anybody know the River City Brass Band? I'm making a film on them." And they said, "Yeah, I've heard those guys are really great." I went into the Giant Eagle just up the road there, and I'm filming, and a woman comes up and says, "Hey, what are you doing?" I said, I'm filming a video diary because I'm going to be conducting the River City Brass Band, and it's unique. And she said, "Oh, yeah, I've heard of those guys. They're absolutely fantastic." Everywhere I went and mentioned the name, even people who had never been to a concert said they'd heard of it. And I thought, if I can be part of that organization and develop it and make it something even better, if they ask me, I'm going to say yes. Mostly at that time, because to be honest, the band wasn't playing as well as it's playing now. I thought, look at this town. This is a great place to be. Just to drive through the Fort Pitt Tunnel in the evening, that first impression.
Yep.
And I said to myself, nobody told me it was beautiful. In fact, a viola player, well, that says everything. He was a viola player who came from Philly, who also says everything.
Okay.
Said, "Don't go to Pittsburgh, it's the pits." So I had this impression
I
that it was
hate
going to be
viola
a...
players.
Well, join the club. There's a whole website of viola jokes. I mean,
Okay,
go there. ViolaJokes.com. Don't get me started on the viola jokes.
Okay. No, he's too much. Anyway.
You didn't think I was going to come on here and be miserable, did you?
No, we had no doubt.
Yeah.
I don't want to let you go. I feel like you should be our musician every week. So
Yeah.
now, breaking news: River City Brass Band joins YaJagoff.
And they will
week
be
after
our
week.
live in-studio guest on Q92.9.
Yeah, there you go.
Imagine that.
Oh my God!
Hey,
yeah,
kid,
that
come
would
on
go
in and play
great.
Justin Bieber and Lizzo.
Anytime.
do it.
We can do
I
it.
know he could do
You
it.
can do it. Yeah.
Where does everybody follow you and find you? You said YouTube specifically, right?
Yeah, we have a YouTube channel, River City Brass. You'll find us there. We also have Facebook, River City Brass. You can come on there. Come on to our website where you can buy merchandise, buy tickets, buy subscriptions. And you can also write directly to me if you click on the info at rivercitybrass.org. So it's www.rivercitybrass.org. You'll see everything about us. We've got concerts coming up tomorrow. We have two. The trio is playing at Sherwood Oaks retirement facility. Then up in Westminster College, right in the north there, we have a 3rd of July concert. With fireworks and big shebang. It's great for me as a new, because I've become an American citizen, and so it's great for me as a new American to put forth the values of this great country.
Wow.
Back-to-back weeks of people who appreciate America. I
Yeah.
can't thank you enough. Yeah.
Oh, my
We
God.
interviewed,
This
just
is-
for your reference, we interviewed a gentleman who came from Lebanon, right? Is that where he was from? In Open Pita Land in Brookline. I don't know if you know him.
I know it.
Amazing man. And just listening to him and talk about what he did to grow his business just makes, Americans who are born here really stop and see the importance.
Yeah, well, we choose to become Americans
Yeah.
for a reason. The values of this country. Okay, they're a bit challenged just now. They're a bit
Sure.
the turmoil, but it'll get back to normal
Yeah.
when we come together as a country. And we immigrants, we come here because it's still a land of opportunity, and we take the opportunities, and we work hard to make our lives better and the communities in which we live better. That's what we're here to do.
And you're living that through the Pittsburgh River
How do we
City
ask
Brass
you the parent
Band, right?
question
Wow.
now? You just gave us.
Do you
these
know the
lessons.
question of the day? Have you heard it?
I've heard it. Well, we've been sitting over there. So
What are you gonna say?
It is. Subscribe to River City Brass. Subscribe to River City Brass.
No one said
Subscribe. You jagoffs.
All right.
I
I'll
think
take that
this
one.
is.
I'll
I
take
think
it.
this has to be the new TV commercial that
Oh
we.
my
If we see
gosh.
him on there,
Yes.
that's
I
right.
love it. Thank you so much
James
for your
Gourlay,
time
thank
and
you so much for
sharing your
being with
talent.
us. The
Yes.
River City Brass Band. Oh, announce who was with you
Yes.
today?
Algirdas Matonis, our euphonium player, and his lovely wife, Birute Matonis. They are also immigrants. They've come from the small country of Lithuania,
Oh, okay.
especially to
family
work
who
with the
came
River
from
City
Lithuania.
Brass Band.
Get out of town.
Oh
Wow.
my gosh.
Well, welcome.
Thank you for being here.
This
You
has
guys
been
were
fantastic.
wonderful.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
And thanks everybody for watching. We'll go through this is where we will play a full song of the River City Brass Band when you hear the edited version.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, we have to say thank you to Cathy and the National Aviary. What a treasure. And if you're a Yinzer that's living out of town, make sure you hit this place when you come home. Get at Primanti's and then come here. Or go
Or
here, then
toward
go
the
to
north
Primanti's,
side. That's
right?
my theory.
But first go to River City Brass
For-
concert.
well, there you go.
Absolutely, River City.
And to
we have-
Bob as well for being so informational. We really appreciate him, and we're going
And
to have him on more regularly.
We're going to
Colleen.
run the 4.12
I'm not running it, but I'll quickly walk it.
for the Yinzer 4.12 for Light of Life mission.
Light of Life, yeah.
And thank you again to James Gourlay, the
Great
River City
pleasure.
Brass
And
Band.
our friend Doug Oster, who's our quarterly guest who hasn't been quarterly. And thanks as always to Rourke Automotive. That group has stayed true to its core values during the challenges of shortages throughout this year. They pride themselves on the customer first mentality, so they refuse to serve the community in any other way, inventory shortage or not.
So, for anybody looking for a new vehicle, not looking to pay more than they should, talk to a representative today or visit Rourke.com for all of your vehicle needs.
Happy 4th
needs.
of July. Have a wonderful weekend. Take care.